I'm Fran Foster, Master of Setauket Lodge here in East Bridgewater. And with me tonight is Fred Milliken, past Master of Plymouth Lodge in Plymouth. We're going to be talking about the Quiet Fraternity tonight and the different bodies of Masonry. We have a tape for you called the Quiet Fraternity, and it explains all about some of the different bodies of Masonry. The Shriners, Eastern Star, Rainbow, DeMolay, Job's Daughters, the Museum of Our Heritage in Lexington, Massachusetts, and the Crippled Children's Hospital. These are all a part of Masonry.
Now, Fran, let's get back to the title of this film we're going to watch, The Quiet Fraternity. You know, we got that label, I think, because we don't blow our own horn. And I don't think you'll see us out on street corners passing out pamphlets about all the good things that we do, nor do we take ads out in the newspaper. And I kind of think of the contrast of that with what a politician does. And I don't know about you right at the moment, but my doorbell is ringing and my pamphlets are all around my door with the politicians that are running for office now. And they're all telling me how great they are and all the things they do and so forth and so on. But I think the public needs to know that we just don't do that.
No.
Right?
We are known as the Quiet Fraternity. We go about our business, we do our thing, and we don't blow our own horn.
And the other thing that I think is important to bring out, and you notice that this particular film is from the Grand Lodge of Connecticut. Now, we have previously seen, I think our first film was from the Grand Lodge of Massachusetts.
Right.
And we saw one from the Grand Lodge of Missouri.
Yes.
And from the Grand Lodge of Pennsylvania.
Yes.
So we're kind of making the rounds around the country. And there are 51 Grand Lodges in the United States of America. And there is no national organization that governs these 51 Grand Lodges. Each one is autonomous to itself and speaks for itself.
Yes, back when George Washington was President of the United States, the Masons in the United States at the time wanted to make him the supreme Grand Master of all Masons in the several states. And he at that time says no. So he refused, and each of the states then became a separate unit. Pretty much the same. There are slight differences, but we all have the same basic premises of friendship, relief, and brotherly love.
And it's contrasted, I think, with Europe, where if you go to Great Britain or you go to England, there's a Grand Lodge of England that speaks for the whole country of England. There is no Grand Lodge that speaks for all the states. And the Grand Lodges grew up just like our government grew up. As the individual states kept adding on and on, so did the Grand Lodges. But there never became one great Grand Lodge governing everybody. And there is not, and I think it's important for everybody to realize, there is not a national spokesman. There's no official position across the country. And there is no one person that speaks totally for Masonry. As a matter of fact, you and I here tonight, as we're discussing Masonry, what I say about Masonry is how it affects me and how I view it through my eyes. And what Fran Foster says about
Right.
Masonry is how Fran Foster views it through his eyes. I think we all speak individually from the heart, but there is no one person that speaks for all of us. And, you know, the nice thing about that is that we allow for a divergence of opinion. We agree that we all don't have to say the same thing, yet we all come together in harmony and brotherly love.
Yes, the harmony and brotherly love is very important. Back in 1723, when they wrote the constitutions of the Grand Lodge of Massachusetts, it was said at the time there would be no politics or religious discussions allowed within the lodge, because these are the two most important things that might be divisive. So these just weren't allowed to be spoken inside a lodge.
And our organization, Masonry, is one of the foremost organizations that has promulgated harmony and togetherness among many different religions.
Right.
That there should be religious freedom.
There's another point I wanted to bring up. Some people have had problems with the idea of calling the leader of the lodge worshipful master.
Right.
Well, worshipful means respected. We are not worshipped as a deity, not in any way, shape, or form.
And you don't pray to the worshipful master.
You certainly don't.
No. It's a term of respect.
Term of respect. That's all it is.
But getting back to many different things, the many different opinions that are allowed in Masonry, I know that at times people will pick out what one individual Mason may say, might even take some words out of context, and try to make this as an official line for our fraternity. And this just isn't so.
No, not at all. I think we have the tape to show now, so let's see what the tape is all about.
Great.
Thanks.
The Masonic Temple, a familiar part of the Connecticut landscape. Found in almost every city and town in our state. Some temples are ornate, displaying the skills of both architect and builder. Others are simple, quietly blending in with their surroundings. The buildings mean little to the casual observer, but to the more than 30,000 Connecticut Masons, they are symbolic of a philosophy of life that guides and inspires them. The structures are the most obvious evidence of the fraternity, but its strength is built on something far more important and lasting than bricks and mortar.
I look forward to my lodge meetings. It's like a little family reunion when I go there. I think the word is concern. I know that those guys are concerned about me. I look forward to seeing them because I'm concerned about how they're doing. You know, and you look around and you say, yeah, I really do love these guys.
I feel it's a group of men that truly care about me. They're concerned about my future, my welfare, and making me a better person, giving me a direction in life that I may in turn around and help somebody else that follows in my footpath.
There's something about membership in the fraternity and what you observe and what you learn and what you come to understand is expected of you that makes it a real brotherhood.
Through Masonry, I've had an opportunity to meet some outstanding men from all over the country. It's a great experience. It's one that I wouldn't trade for anything in the world.
It's a feeling of sincere friendship and love. Beyond that, I don't know how you can explain it. You're so happy to be with them, to be around them, to be associated with them, to be working for the same goals, for the things you believe in, hoping that you can, through your combined efforts in the Masonic teachings, make better men.
The origin of the craft called Masonry is obscured by the mists of antiquity. But by the Middle Ages, the men whose tools and hands shaped these magnificent cathedrals had refined their skills, organized themselves into guilds or lodges, and developed a ritual to instruct others in the trade. These men were operative Masons, and their craft secrets were not for everyone. In the early 1700s in England, cathedral building declined. In order to keep their lodges intact, the operative Masons began accepting as members men who were not associated with the building trades. This marked the beginning of speculative Masonry, the building and shaping of men using the teachings of the ancient Masons. The ancient operative Mason used his compasses to translate the architect's plans to ensure beauty and stability. To today's speculative Mason, the compasses are the symbol of virtue, the true measure of a man's life and conduct. The square was used to test the accuracy of the sides of the stone. Today, it represents morality, truthfulness, and honesty. Together, the square and the compasses and the letter G, standing for God and geometry, form the symbols of speculative Masonry. These working tools are also used in a traditional function of the fraternity, the laying of cornerstones.
I find the cornerstones to be square. Craftsmen have performed their duty.
He is a most unusual and pleasant opportunity for this Grand Lodge and its officers to lay and dedicate this cornerstone.
The ceremony symbolizes a beginning here of the new quarters of Day Spring Lodge in Hamden, Connecticut.
Liberty and justice for all.
The symbolism continues inside the temples. Freemasonry today has been described as a system of morality based on allegory and illustrated by symbols. A new member of the fraternity is likened to the ancient mason's ashlar, or stone, rough cut from the quarry. The Masonic quest is to perfect the man as the stone was once squared and smooth. Each painting and object in a temple has its own meaning, rooted in the lessons of Masonic teaching. The symbols speak of brotherly love, truth and charity, service to mankind, civic responsibility, justice and compassion, innocence and fidelity. The lodges, blue lodges they're called, blue being the color of the sky, which is as expansive as Masonry is universal in its teachings, form the bedrock of the fraternity. This is where the Masonic experience begins, and is the starting point of all of the order's fraternal services and charitable activities. There are 3 degrees or steps of instruction and ritual in each Blue Lodge, the last of which is Master Mason. Meetings are conducted according to rules and ritual. Lodge business is serious and important. Discussions on religion or politics are not permitted to ensure harmony. After the meeting, it's time for fellowship and to catch up on the news of other Masons. This fellowship and mutual trust and support of good friends are among the main attractions of Masonry.
It's like a little family reunion when I go there.
I feel it's a group of men that truly care about me.
I've had an opportunity to meet some outstanding men from all over the country.
It's a feeling of sincere friendship and love.
This concern, deep and shared by men of this and preceding generations, is responsible for this facility, the Masonic Home and Hospital, showcase of Connecticut Masonry. Hospital Administrator Edgar Kilby.
The fraternity has provided something very unique here. Because of the energy of Connecticut Masonry and the many Masons, and clearly the wonderful staff that we have, this home is one of the leaders in geriatric care in this country. The physical plan at the home and hospital is quite simply one of the very best. It's one of the reasons I think that we enjoyed such an excellent reputation in this part of the country, and is due in a very large part to the collective and individual generosity of Connecticut Masons and their families for almost 100 years. State-of-the-art diagnostic equipment is seldom seen at other similar facilities, and we have an abundance of that here.
2, down, 3.
But the home and hospital is more than just equipment and facilities. There's a chemistry here that's magnificent. You sense it in the interaction of the staff and our guests, and with many in the fraternity that visit with us each day.
Okay, that's good. Now turn towards me.
There's a closeness and personal involvement that is both natural and certainly spontaneous.
Very good.
Our staff is made up of caring professionals who are tops in their field. They are always trying to maximize the skills and the abilities of our residents.
Now, the first 3 words are birthday, amendment, and private.
I really believe the years of fraternal commitment by the people who literally built this place has a lot to do with the chemistry here. We encourage hobbies. People simply do better when they have challenges and interests of one kind or another. Many of these trains, buildings, and trees were built here or donated by other Connecticut Masons.
What do you want? Cut it down a
This
little.
little world built on these tables is enjoyed by many here and those that visit with us as well. All of the many activities that go on here are planned with the goal of helping our people stay physically and mentally active as long as possible.
Maybe.
There's nothing like a visit of young people to help do that. This concern for our people, preserving the quality and dignity of life, is behind everything we do, here, at our satellite facility in Newtown, Connecticut, and through our growing outreach program.
Greg is helping us with the ice cream.
What do you think, a couple of more teachers will be enough time?
The Masonic Fraternity of Connecticut is leading the way in the care of the elderly by setting an example of what it is possible to accomplish.
The elderly are not the only concern of Connecticut Masons. Jacques de Molay, a knight during the Crusades in the Middle Ages, died a martyr to his cause. His name was chosen to symbolize the ideals of the Order of de Molay, an international youth organization founded in 1919 in the United States and sponsored and supported by Masonry. Like Masonry, de Molay has many beautiful rituals and valuable moral lessons. This is an installation of officers. The order is open to all young men between the ages of 13 and 20, of good character and reputation, without regard to race, creed, color, or national origin. At a leadership conference, the de Molay motto, "Building Better Citizens," comes to life as young men of similar age, goals, and ideas meet to learn and to teach one another.
First of all, you can discover that you can do things that you never thought you could do before. Discover your resources and discover yourself. Secondly, challenge. How much I could do. How far I could go to start something really important and be able to finish it. That's what we're all about. Giving our all and all our potential and putting ourselves into de Molay and having the best product come out of it.
They learn to plan for their chapters and their lives. The conference offers the opportunity to develop individual capabilities and leadership.
Let's go to Let's have our second meeting and get organized for conclave because we've got to get all the equipment together.
A newspaper is published each day to keep everyone posted on the activities at the conference and to report on the good-natured but rugged competition at athletic events.
Come on, guys, come on! Oh, yeah! Double.
New experiences and ideas are shared. New friends are made. The memories will last for many years. The Order of Rainbow for girls has a heritage similar to de Molay's. Rainbow teaches love of home, church, school, community, and service to humanity. Girls, 13 to 20 years of age, form the membership of Rainbow, and as with de Molay, are eligible to join without regard to race, creed, color, or national origin. Here, Rainbow girls sell goods they have made to raise funds for one of their favorite charities. The Rainbow Girls, with more than 2,000 members in Connecticut, and de Molay for boys, with about 1,000 members, are just two of a long list of affiliated organizations supported by Blue Lodge Masons. The largest of these organizations is the ancient Arabic Order of the Nobles of the Mystic Shrine, better known as the Shrine. The order is familiar to anyone who has ever watched a parade or the Shrine Bowl game. Less well known, but of more importance, are the charitable efforts of the Shriners, notably their 19 crippled children's hospitals around the country. Like this one in Springfield, Massachusetts. All are supported by funds raised by Shrine Masons. The Boston Burns Institute is one of 3 such hospitals for children which were also founded and operated by the Shriners. This hospital is another that Connecticut Shrine Masons help to maintain. Treatment at all Shrine hospitals is available without charge to any child without regard to Masonic affiliation, race, creed, or color. The human suffering and disability addressed with care and treatment in all of the Shrine hospitals is enormous and can't be measured by dollars alone. All of the 750,000 Shriners in this country are drawn from the ranks of Blue Lodge Masons. They come from the 2 branches of American Masonry. The 2 rites are similar, but different paths to further knowledge and understanding of the ancient Masonic teachings. The members of the Scottish Rite, the younger of the 2, have undertaken a variety of charitable projects. In Lexington, Massachusetts, for example, stands one of their contributions, the Museum of Our National Heritage. The museum is a true landmark in one of our country's most historic towns. Many thousands of visitors each year come to enjoy the beauty of this spectacular award-winning center and its exhibits. Of particular interest are those which portray the people, events, and places so important to our country's past as well as present. These are some of the tools used by a most famous Mason, George Washington. The museum is one of several important charitable activities carried on by Scottish Rite Masons. Their work also includes research into the cause and treatment of schizophrenia. York Rite Masons are also extremely active in works of charity, and through the Knights Templar, the Rite's highest order, are helping others to see. One of the goals of the Knights Templar Eye Foundation, a great humanitarian effort which has saved thousands of eye disease patients from blindness. Research, surgical treatment, and hospitalization are all carried on or provided by this Masonic branch. Medical and financial need are the only considerations affecting eligibility for treatment. Many millions of dollars have been provided for surgery and hospitalization, and more than $1 million in research alone. The policy of the Eye Foundation is to keep administrative costs to a minimum so that the greatest number of people can benefit. The gift of sight, release from darkness, goals worthy of a great organization, the York Rite Knights Templar. The total amount of charitable contributions across the country by Masonic groups is enormous. $1.5 million a day. More than $1.5 billion each year. One day a year, Grand Master's Day, Blue Lodge Masons and members of their affiliated organizations and their families gather together at the home and hospital they're so proud of in Wallingford. It is a day of celebration, of renewing old acquaintances and making new friends. All ages are represented as the Masonic family gathers. Even on this day of their own, they give to others blood blood donations are a long-standing tradition in the state.
I'd like to tell you one thing.
It is also a day to look ahead and plan for the future.
There is no real significant public perception of Freemasonry in the state of Connecticut. It's about time to let the world at large know what wonderful things we as Masons do, and we're going to do it. When we get through the next several years leading to the 200th anniversary, the people in this state will know who the Masons are. They will know what we do. We can do it. We have to do it by the individual effort of every Mason and friend sitting here today.
It is important that people understand what Freemasonry is. Know that it is not a secret organization, but rather a private fraternal society whose tenets of brotherly love, truth, and charity are a way of life and a commitment to excellence. Freemasonry is unique in its fundamental concept that application for membership must be a wholly voluntary act. A man must ask for himself and join of his own free will and accord. A man must seek the benefits of membership to receive the satisfaction of helping others while improving himself through the fraternity. Freemasonry cannot seek demand. Such is the nature of this oldest and greatest fraternity in the world.
I hope you've enjoyed our show tonight. We had the Quiet Fraternity from the Grand Lodge of Connecticut. In future shows, I expect to have on Miss Cynthia Alcorn, the Grand Lodge librarian, Jimmy Sarantopoulos, who is the Grand Commander of the Commandery. I hope you'll have on the Eastern Star and the Rainbow to explain what they are and what they do with it, with their time.
And those are only some of the people that are coming up. I know you and I have talked about some of the things you'd like to do and some of the plans that we have coming. And boy, I just can't wait. They sound like some really interesting shows. And they won't all be films from Grand Lodges across the United States, but we're planning on a little more on the live guest theme, aren't we?
Oh, yes.
And we can have some lively, heated discussions, and you'll be able to see the divergence in views and that there is no one spokesman for Masonry.
I'm very excited about it.
Yeah, me too.
Looking forward to it. I hope you've enjoyed the show. Tune in on us next Wednesday. Thank you for watching.